Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, welcome to the Saturday night show of the Paranormal Portal. I'm your host, Brent Thomas, and I hope you're having a great night. Thank you so much for being here with us. I know it's a wonderful weekend to probably be doing a million things, but here you are with us, and it's absolutely humbling and amazing, and I'm always grateful, so thank you guys for that. But I just got to let you know I'm not here alone 2 nights in a row. It's amazing, but we might be starting a trend here. Joining me in the studio is my good friend and co-host, Mr. Don Longbeard. Never mind. Let me get back to that. Camera one.
Brent!
Never mind. TFR people are going, what?
Yeah, exactly. What's he doing?
That was a YouTube site gag, ladies and gentlemen.
Actually, it was. I'm sorry, TFR. You
That's
deserve
all right.
better than that. You really
Well, they probably deserve a lot better than us, but you get what you pay for. So you're stuck with us. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Saturday edition of the show. We had a great night last night. Had a good show with Ra Castaldo, and thank you so much for joining us, Ra. That was a lot of fun. Incredibly deep conversation, and we had a lot of great feedback, and some people were overwhelmed, but I guess when you're going that deep into the rabbit hole, you just gotta expect that not all of us are gonna get it. And there's Rod comes at it from like deep in the field, and so he talks with an exuberance and knowledge and level that most of us aren't familiar with. And
That's true, yeah.
It was a great conversation, though, and thank you again, Ra, for being on. And, of course, yesterday, before that, Don and I were guests on Bigfoot Odyssey, and we had
That was a great time.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun with Carrie and Daniela, and if you haven't seen that, head over to Bigfoot Odyssey channel and check that out. Remember, following our show here, on TFR, iHeart, TuneIn, and TalkStream Live comes Paisley Wild with The Spaces Between coming up right after this, after our 2-hour show. And then following Paisley is our very own Duke Sullivan in the World Bigfoot Radio, which is also on TFR Live, iHeart, TuneIn, and TalkStream Live. And he'll be taking over the airwaves then. So it's a jam-packed, fun-filled night here on TFR. And thank you, Nikki, for coming in before us and setting the stage. We are always honored to follow you as well. And
I should hit the like button. Sorry.
You better like this, Don. I oughta. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are back at it, and it's just a normal kind of night here. We've been, I don't know, just running ragged lately, right, Don?
Yeah, it's been crazy, and we've got a crazy week ahead of us too.
We got a really crazy week ahead of us, but that's it's all right. We got a lot of people here with us, and so let's see who's here. I'll go down the TFR list and just see who's present. Sophia's here, the bot. She's always here. She's like she's got an attendance record, I think.
She's like perfect attendance.
Lucky is in here. Doc
Nice.
Kayak is in there. Hey, Doc, good to see you, brother. D Dubious is in there, or Dubois. Sorry, it looked like Dubious. Sorry about that. I read it in a hurry. But the Wookiee's in the TFR as well. Cold Brews is there. Psycho Dave. Ra Castaldo's in there as well. Brother Ra. Matthias 88. Earth Plane. Don Longbeard's in there.
Woohoo!
All One is in there. Don Quixote is in there. Bam is there. Calm Character and Friendly Newcomer. Well,
Nice.
and thank you all for being here and being a part of the show. We are happy that you guys are here. So,
Well,
Don,
they can't see me do this, so I guess it doesn't matter. We are happy you're here, TFR.
Don, remember your audience.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Some of them can't see us. If you would like to see us, ladies and gentlemen,
them.
if you want to see the magic that is the Paranormal Portal, as it happens, you can head over to YouTube, youtube.com/Paranormal Portal if you want to check it out there, or if you want to just sit back and listen, you can do that on YouTube, or you can head over to tfrlive.com and hang out and listen to us live there, or on the Truth Frequency Radio Network channels on iHeart, TuneIn, and TalkStream Live. So, Don, who's in YouTube?
Well, in YouTube, we've got Beastly Bronco. How you doing? We've got Brent the Hater. Nice to see you, buddy.
Yeah, got a great name.
Yeah, I know, huh? But he spells it correctly with 2 T's.
What do you mean correctly? My parents were lazy, Don.
Cameron F's here. Cha-cha. Chris Jarvis, nice to see you. Came over from Bigfoot Odyssey just a minute ago. DJ Big Red 210. Donnie C. FT. I am Pam. Justin's here. Christina's here. MJ's here. MCat's here. Mary Brim is here. Old Spirit Art, nice to see ya. Renee Harvey, Rhonda Williams, Smokin' Joe. By the way, thank you, Smokin' Joe. He says I was awesome on Bigfoot Odyssey last night.
Oh, just you?
Yeah.
He like totally singled you out.
Oh yeah.
And totally like threw me under the, he threw me under the bus
I
like
didn't
that.
throw you under the bus.
No,
I just
he
accepted
did.
my accolades and went for it.
Take a bow, Don.
Thank you. Thank you. Let's see. Paisley Wild with the spaces between is here. The Weird Desk US. Nice to see ya. Ken's here. Tim Allen. Or Timothy Allen. What?
Who?
What? Tim, the
Tool
tool man's
time.
here?
Tool time.
Mr. Duke Sullivan, World Bigfoot Radio, how are you? And that is the shout outs for this time of the night.
It is. It definitely is. But yeah, we're absolutely thrilled that you all are here, and of course the YouTube audience kind of filters in throughout the first hour. They just kind of make their way in when they get here.
Oh, the portal's here.
That might be due to some of the issues with the notifications. That's
true. Yeah,
that
they're
takes
kind of odd.
And yes, Bam, this is the magic.
Bam.
Bam says that's the magic. Ooh, just a low blow on the way by. Thank you very much. But yeah, we're at it and gonna do our best to keep you entertained for the duration of this show. Should we fail, you can always grab your seat as a flotation device and jump out the window.
Oh man,
It could. I'm just saying.
that was good.
Thank you.
Good.
That's what I hear anyway.
Wow, hit that like button, everyone.
Yeah, if you're on YouTube.
Oh, Doc Kayak, we got a message from Ken. He said, "What up, yo?"
Outstanding. Well, Don, I'm heading over to the Hot Sheets here because it's our Saturday night fun fest here on the Paranormal Portal. And the Hot Sheets, ladies and gentlemen, if you're not familiar with the show, I always go to singular40n.com. I love this site. I just love this site. They do a great job, and it's a real clean, concise, quick,
Taste of the
paranormal in every article. So the first one I'm going to read you, it says Pine State Phantoms documentary puts emphasis on witness testimony. Did I read that one already?
What?
Did I read that one on Wednesday?
I don't remember what you just said. No, I don't think so.
Glad you could join me, Don.
The name Kathy Faye doesn't ring any bells.
All right, so this is apparently there's it's called Pine State Phantoms. It's a documentary that's being released by Nathaniel Brislin. And he's I'm not familiar with this at all, but I'm pretty sure I already read this. It's a quick little snippet, though, so if I read it before, let's just call this reinforcement material that you should probably check it out. The film documents the evidence and testimony compiled by a resident Kathy Faye, who claims to have witnessed everything from ghostly activity to UFOs to Bigfoot in and around her relatively isolated house and the surrounding woods. Also prominently featured is the experience of Laurie Notch, professor of cultural anthropology at Southern Maine Community College, who for several years has helped investigate the reported phenomena. Well, I think that's really cool. Okay. Breslin and St. Laurent generally let Faye's evidence speak for itself rather than offering their own explanations, although efforts are made to rule out certain mundane phenomena. This sounds really familiar.
Yeah, it's starting to sound familiar.
Yeah, okay, so I probably read it before, but that's how organized I am here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. But Pine State Phantoms. is the name of that documentary, and it does look like it'll be great. I'm not sure exactly where it's releasing, but let's see. It's going to be available October 31st. Yeah, that's it. I remember this now.
Yeah, through Bizarre Bay.
It's through YouTube, though.
That's right.
It's for free on YouTube on October 31st, ladies and gentlemen. So I would recommend go checking it out. That's the second time I've read that very same story. So it must be important because we believe that everything happens for a reason. I already read this one, too, didn't I?
About the ventriloquist head?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Yeah,
now
I think I did. I think I did. No, the hot sheets are kind of slow today, John.
The hot sheets are kind of cold.
There's not a lot going on in the hot sheets. Cold. But, of course, the Halloween season is upon us, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I had last time we had a good question from somebody, and I don't remember who asked it, but they said, is the veil between this world and the next thinnest during Halloween, or is it the winter solstice? And that was a great question. I haven't actually looked into it any more than that, but I can tell you that I've heard both versions. Now, I only heard the newer version from our good friend Sean, which is that it's the winter solstice. Every other time that I've heard it, it's been in reference to Halloween as being the thinnest, and that was when I was studying druidic, practices and stuff. And not by saying I'm a druid. That's not where I'm going with this. But I always am very interested in these esoteric practices because I think there's truth everywhere, and you have to look for these things. And so I did some research into the druidic practices and beliefs, and apparently, that's where I guess I came up with the Halloween season being the thinnest that the veil gets. But
right. Well, so Paisley from the Spaces Between and Weird Desk agrees with her. Paisley says it's Halloween, and here's why. It's got to do with the shortest days of the year.
Oh, there you go.
The shortest days of the year with the longest nights is the thinnest of the veil.
Well, then that would definitely be the winter solstice.
Well, it'd be, and Halloween and Beltane are the times of the year when it's the thinnest. So Samhain and Beltane.
Okay, right, but that's not when the longest nights are. The longest nights are actually in December when the winter solstice is happening.
Paisley, you hear me because you're in there talking. So
speak to us. Let us know. And if anybody has any opinions on that, would like to call in or be present and accounted for, you can certainly do so. The number for the show is 720-923-0500. Again, 720-923-0500. So anybody has any opinions or ideas on that, feel free to call in. I'm not claiming that I'm right. I'm really not. I've been at this too long to be real egotistical about it because there's no real answers. I mean, we all have opinions and stuff, so I love to hear other opinions. Or also if you have
Oh, look, there's Paisley. She's on the phone.
Oh, hey, let's get Paisley on here and just let her explain this.
Explain it. Explain it, girl.
Lucy, you got some explaining to do. All right. This is Miss Paisley. Hello, welcome to the show.
Hey, guys.
How you doing?
Hello.
How's it going?
Good. As you guys are saying and talking, it's like I start typing. It's like, no, wait, no, stop. Where's the number? Where's the call-in number? And I'm the weird person that has it saved in my phone book. So.
Yeah, but if you look above my head on the screen,
there's a little hint up there.
Just saying, it's there.
Well, you're saved in my phone book, so it's just easier to.
I hear you.
See,
okay,
we're on somebody's speed dial.
Speed dial.
We
yeah,
are
speed dial 8. It's all good.
Nice.
So what's up?
Give us the scoop. What's going on?
The veil is thinnest at Halloween and Beltane. So, and it's more a seasonal thing, I suppose. The reason why often it's associated with winter solstice, is because that's when, depending on which mythology you're reading or which tradition you're following, supposedly at that point, that's when the Great Hunt happened, and that's and the leader of the hunt was also, the senior Yule god or Yule deity, and that's why most people assume that the veil is thinnest at Yule.
Okay,
but it's not. It's Halloween and Beltane. Halloween is generally associated with All Saints Eve or All Hallows Eve. And it's when we're just celebrating the passing of the spirits. And the reason why Beltane is the flip side is because, of course, the Earth is kind of this roundish shape. And
Kind of.
the not very flat, more round. And so on the southern hemisphere, they're celebrating the opposite holidays. So Beltane and Samhain happen at the same time. And it's just the cycle of the year. That's why they're both. That's when the veil is thinnest, and we're able to contact the dead or the spirits on the other side of the veil.
That's interesting.
That's all.
That's interesting because I was actually born on Beltane, so I didn't know that there was a correlation between this hemisphere and the southern hemisphere as far as which version they're on. Huh.
Which version?
Well, you know what I mean, because it's like
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of a connection point then between the solstices.
Mm-hmm.
That's really cool. Okay, that had never occurred to me before. Ah, very interesting.
Yeah. So the time is cyclical, just like the weather is, and man, I'm hitting all the points tonight, aren't I?
Yeah, you are.
And
Just keep going, girl. Keep going.
And so since time is cyclical, it keeps happening again and again. So as the time flows and comes back again, the veil thins again periodically. So it's every 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That's all.
Okay, gotcha.
It's a thing.
Hey, last night you were talking about the wild hunt, as a matter of fact, right?
Yes.
So just real quick, go now. If I remember correctly, the name of the leader of the hunt changes depending on which tradition you're following. Is that correct, or reading, or whatever that is? Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
It could be Odin, Wotan. It could be Herni or Heron, depending on how you're pronouncing it. It could be Canunos. After Christianity happened, it could have been Charlemagne. So, my brain just shut off.
King Arthur.
I don't drink coffee at night. I'm really looking at the bottle of wine thinking it's time.
Not yet. You got to show in a bit.
Speaking of spirits,
Right? I got to tell you, some of those, you go to the store, you see like the little to-go containers. They're not glass anymore. They're paper.
You're
Basically,
talking about
it's wine in a box,
You're
but
talking
it's a
about the
single serving.
Tetra Packs.
It's just a grown-up juice box.
It is.
well, there is that. Just take one to go.
There was another question I was going to ask. Canunos. Describe Canunos.
Mm-hmm.
As physical form.
Physical form, Canunos. Well, that's a little harder. Generally, he's depicted with horns of some sort, often deer or elk antlers, although he's been depicted with like goat horns also. Mm-hmm. It depends, again, upon which age you're looking at. He's been around since pretty much Neolithic times. So he's an elder god. He's very often depicted with a torque, which is a symbol of power and authority. And two-headed snake, I think it is. And he's generally the Lord of the Forest. He's also been depicted as the Green Man, so depending on...
Okay. Michelangelo's Green Man, isn't? Okay. Gotcha.
Well, think more like the Ents. I really, really think Tolkien, when he was writing Lord of the Rings and came to the Ents, he was really pulling from the mythos around Canunos more.
Oh, okay. Wow, that's pretty cool.
Well, there you go.
That was a bucket full of information. Thank you so much for stopping by and filling our trough. That was awesome.
Here's your slop, peasant.
It's time to slop the pigs.
Yeah, here, just throw some stuff at you. So,
awesome.
Well, anyways, Canunos is generally Lord of the Forest, Lord of the Hunt, is my interpretation.
Excellent.
And if, he's the leader of the wilderness beings, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
and so probably associated with like the Grimm or the Black Dogs.
Right.
Probably very closely associated. If you were to, combine, legend and mythos, probably associated with Bigfoot because they probably drink beer together. I'm just saying, but
They do their baccalaureates together.
probably there's something to it. So, all right.
Since we
clear
got
things up, or
no,
make
yeah, it
things
does.
more complicated?
It's good. But since you're on the horn, why don't you give everybody an idea what you guys are doing on your show tonight?
Hopefully.
So tonight, I do have a guest. Her name is Maya. She has the YouTube channel My Pagan Life.
Okay.
And she's a younger gal, but that's okay. I think it's going to be really interesting to talk to her because she's started out being pagan in her mid-teens and has been blogging and video chatting about it, or video posting, vlogging with a V, about it for a while. And so kind of her interpretation with her age group, and, what did her parents, how'd they react when she came out of the broom closet with them, or was she ever in the broom closet? Did she grow up on the pagan path, that kind of thing. So it'll be really interesting. She does a lot of videos talking about, spell work, and she has these little bitty rants where she just things that she sees in life and talks about them on her show. So yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be interesting. I'm looking forward to it.
Very good. Well, thank you so much for being a part of our show. We appreciate it, and thanks for helping to spread the knowledge.
Sure thing. I will confuse you any day, Brett. You know that.
Yeah, it doesn't take much.
That makes three of us. Me and my two personalities.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much.
All right. Talk to y'all later.
All right, good night. Very cool. That was Paisley Wild, ladies and gentlemen, of the Spaces Between. Again, that'll be following the Paranormal Portal on TFR, iHeart, TuneIn, and TalkStream Live, and she does have a YouTube channel that she streams live on as well.
You know what's funny? It's the space between us and Duke. Sorry.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we don't charge for the humor. That part's free. It's all free around here. So, but no, it's a great show. She does a good job. It's a rather newer show, but she's been at it for a while and has really covered some pretty amazing topics. So she's doing a good job. So if you are curious, interested, or you just want to check out a new and different show, definitely check out the Spaces Between. So, just thought it'd be,
Spaces between us and him.
Yeah.
Sorry, it just popped in my head. Okay, stop.
Just roll with it, Don.
Dumb Don jokes.
Yeah. That should be like a
new segment.
That should be a new segment, I'm thinking. Maybe when we get the member area.
That's an idea. When we put up the membership, yes, that'll be an interesting
Things Don says.
Oh, look, there's Cade.
Hey, is Cade in here?
Yeah, Cade just popped in.
Good to see you, brother. Welcome again. And how's things down under? Good, I hope. Imagine it's getting chillier down there, it's getting warmer there. It's getting colder here.
Summer,
yeah, I don't know. It's funny because every once in a while we'll cover paranormal stories, and sometimes they're from Australia, and if I don't realize it, the narrative would be like, yeah, it was a really hot January day, and I'm like, what
January?
the hell?
What? Hot?
And then I was like,
freaking snow.
Yeah, I know. It's like 10 below here. It's like, what do you mean hot? Anyway, so I don't know why I thought of that, but I did thought of that.
Mogion's blowing me up again.
Oh, Mog, what are you doing?
Well, he was yesterday during the Bigfoot Odyssey show.
Yeah.
He said, "Oh, don't worry about it. We're always giving Don a hard time." And so when you said something about segments, he says, "We do that segment every night."
That's awesome.
Oh God, you guys love me.
We do, you do. That's one of the signs people love you, Don, is when they pick on
beardos.
You. A bunch of beardos?
Yeah.
You're a beardo, that's for sure. You got one all the way down to your lap. So.
Yeah, it's almost there.
It's getting there.
Yep.
It's growing lovely and lushly. You better get some of Merkel's beard oil.
Hell no, I got my own.
What, you do?
No, I use the stuff I
Oh,
like.
okay. Oh, okay. Gotcha.
I don't know.
That stuff looks good, though. I mean, I've been reading the reviews, and apparently people are loving that stuff.
For some reason, I just can't get it. The other day, you said something about Wet dog. I was like,
Well, you know,
dog man, wet dog. Oh God.
it's just funny because, you know, of course, whenever you hear people talk about how Sasquatch smells, it's never complimentary.
That's why he's called a skunk ape.
Yeah, that's right. But I'm sure Mr. Merkel didn't stick to
He
authenticity.
says
with
it's 31C. So 31C is
which
like
means
70.
nothing. Oh, it is? Okay. Well, you better Google that to be
I
sure.
am 31C.
Equals. But we got a lot of other stuff coming for you tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
87.
Wow, it's that.
I was way off, but I was on the good side of the way off. Holy crap, 87 degrees there.
That's pretty balmy.
Gosh, Ken, how's your weather? Ken's a bit farther away.
This is the Paranormal Portal weather report from around the world. Brought to you by the letters OMG.
OMG.
All right, so we got about a minute before break, so I guess we'll hold off on introducing.
Getting serious?
Well, I don't know if that ever happens here on the portal, Don, but we'll hold off on investing in anything more until after the break. But, ladies and gentlemen, the phone lines are always open, so please call in. If you've got a paranormal situation or experience of your very own that you'd love to share, we'd love to hear from you. Additionally, you know, if you'd rather just email something in, don't want to read it, don't want to be on the show live, then you can email it in to paranormalportalradio@gmail.com.
I think there's actually a story in there.
You do?
Yeah.
Oh. Who am I missing?
Well,
We'll find out. I'll check over break, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll be right back with more of the Paranormal Portal. Don't go away. 1/2 hour has glided behind us, Don, already.
Already, wow.
Can you believe how fast it goes?
Cade says I dance nicely.
Well, you got rhythm, brother.
Got rhythm.
Yeah, that's right.
Kind of like Steve Martin in The Jerk.
Speaking of Cade, I was just watching a documentary on Paul Hogan.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's not a knife.
That's right. That's the guy. Actually, he seems like kind of a cool guy. He does seem like a pretty good guy. But
Marcus Aurelius, I wish you'd buy me a drink too.
Have a drink on me.
Oh. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Yes.
Sorry.
But welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are back at it here on the portal and ready to entertain you. And Don was right. There was an email that had come into the, and this is the reason why, ladies and gentlemen, if you're going to write an email, please send it to me at paranormalportalradio@gmail.com, because if they come in Facebook, I'll read them, I'll see them, and I'll have every intention of sharing them on the show, and then I'll forget about them.
Or forget that it's actually in the Facebook, not in the email.
Yeah, I'll be looking all over for it, not remembering where I saw it, and it'll just be hell. What the hell was that?
That was me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Everything okay over there?
Yeah, I'm just falling apart piece by piece.
Okay. Well, yeah, we got tape. We can put you back together. Got some Scotch tape right down here, so right underneath the backdrop here. But yeah, I do have an email to read, ladies and gentlemen. So without further ado, I'll get into it. Okay, lovey. All right, here we go.
Winston Howell.
Thurston.
That's right.
Thurston
Howell.
That's right. All right. It says, I was listening to your 9/11 show, and you spoke of a person whose cereal spoon vanished into thin air just before hitting the floor. I remember that.
Yeah.
Now, within the last month, I had something very similar happen. I had a bottled water next to my bed, as most of us do. Well, I reached for it in the middle of the night, and it fell, hitting the bed frame. Excuse me. I couldn't feel it with my hands. Irritated and thirsty, I turned on the light and still couldn't find it. Well, I figured I'd find it in the morning and look for it then, and when I did, it was nowhere. I did what the person with the spoon did and searched for quite some time. I even had my husband look to make sure I wasn't losing it. Well, I don't have a bunch of clothes or anything on the floor in the bedroom or anything the bottle could have been stuck in or hidden by. Now, this is where it gets real strange. 6 to 7 days later, I saw it, just sitting there in between the bed frame and the nightstand. I couldn't believe my eyes. I did tell my husband, and he was blown away as well. I quickly poured out the bottled water, not knowing where in space or what dimension it had been for a week. Bizarre, right? It says, our neighborhood was built where the Paiute Indians used to live, which is many, many miles into the Nevada and California, in the Sierra Nevada mountains. When we first moved in, I saw the lower half of a native standing there in the bedroom. And this is strange considering I'm about as sensitive as a metal pole to these kind of things. Bizarre stuff. Take care and love the show.
Wow.
Now, I wrote back to this person and said, this is absolutely incredible experiences. Yeah, and you had some deports happening. With your permission, I'll read it on the Saturday show. I won't use your name, but your experiences are truly incredible. And deports are when deport stuff. Upports are when things strangely show up, in case you're interested in the terminology. And let's see. It says, yeah, this is some bizarre stuff, completely unexpected. We've had some previous experiences with silverware in the house. It actually disappeared in our house in Georgia and reappeared here in our house in Nevada.
Wow.
We don't have kids, so no one was taking and replacing. And I asked my husband, and he confirmed this. We're both confused, and we just dismiss it because we just can't explain it. Of course, you can use it on the show. It's beyond bizarre. So, very cool. Yeah, that stuff is bizarre. And you're right. I don't know if I'd drink the water either. I think that was a good response to your water being gone for a week. Not that you want to drink, open bottle of water that's a week old, but I don't know. I'm sure it'd probably be fine.
It does get a little skanky.
Yeah, I
kind of
think
like Coors.
Kind of like Coors. That skunky beer. No, I think Coors is fine.
I'm gonna get some backlash on that one.
My dad always drank Coors Light.
Yeah.
I'm just
might as well drink Michelob Ultra.
I used to drink
low carb beer.
Oh, I used to drink the Golden Draft. I used to like Golden Draft.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, I'm just saying I did. I've never been a big drinker anyway, but I always found those to be rather acceptable. But you know what they say, Foster's, it's Australian for beer.
Oh my God.
I like the Australian accent.
My first beer was a PBR.
Oh, was it your first
Yeah.
beer? You remember your first
Oh
one?
hell, you don't?
No, mine was something that was smuggled in a blanket when I was in like middle school.
No, this was smuggled in a blanket too, but it wasn't in school.
Coors, a river beer. Marcus really says
Yeah.
a river beer.
No, it's not, because it'll knock you out and you'll fall out of your inner tube and drown.
Jeez.
Then guess what? You become paranormal.
Yeah, then you'll be deporting other stuff. You'll be trying to deport Coors.
And Kate says nobody drinks Foster's in Australia. and anybody with any taste in America doesn't drink it either.
He says it's actually really hard to find here.
I wouldn't surprise. That wouldn't surprise me.
Wow.
That's like kokanee.
Oh, really?
Kokanee is Canadian,
Yeah.
and you can get it all over the Northwest,
Yeah.
but you can't get it like in California.
Oh, I never heard of it in Minnesota
And
before I came out.
Yeah,
here.
exactly. And if you try and go find kokanee gold, you can barely find it in Washington, northern Idaho, and that's it.
Is
You
it a
can't find
smaller brewery or something? Just a regional deal?
Well, it's kokanee is like BC,
Yeah.
Columbia, BC,
Okay.
Canada, but it doesn't import. They don't. They only import to the the postage stamp of the Pacific Northwest for the most part. You can find it in other places, but it's usually more expensive.
Wow, I did not know that. I know a lot of people really enjoy kokanee.
Oh, I used to.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it started keeping me awake.
I remember Labatt's. Labatt's was a good Canadian beer.
That's Molson Ice.
We're talking about beer. It's the Paranormal Portal beer salute. Yeah, that's what we do here, ladies and gentlemen. We are just about as random as hell, and there's not much we can do about it. This is the magic of the portal. It's absolutely unscripted and mostly unprepared.
Seriously underfunded.
Well, yeah, that's true. We certainly aren't getting rich at this, but we're having fun
We're
doing
having
it.
a lot of fun.
Absolutely. So, if you got a special beer that means something to you, just let us know. 720-923-0500.
And we'll make fun of you and the beer.
Yeah. Well, I used to know a guy, honest to God. I knew a guy. He was a recording engineer, and he worked with my old band. And as we were trying to cut an album, and this guy was such a drinker. He could tell what beer, even in a blind pour at a bar.
Really?
And one time the server came back with, "Oh yeah, well guess what this one is." He tasted it and said, it sounds like this one. It smells like, it tastes like this one mixed with a little bit of this one. And he was right. He knew his beer that well.
Wow.
That guy, that was Nick. Nick had a discerning palate. Oh my God. That guy knew his beer. So excellent, funny stuff. But yeah, he had it nailed. I was like, oh my God, you got to love beer to know it that well.
Elaine says she's drinking a Heineken. Now, I like Heineken. You know what Heineken reminds me of? Sprite.
Really?
Yeah, because I get this lemon lime taste from it.
Oh, very
and
nice.
I just absolutely love it.
I thought it was because they're in green bottles. Are they in green bottles? I think they're in green bottles, right? Heineken?
Yeah, they're Heineken.
That's why they remind me of Sprite.
Oh my
I
goodness.
don't.
For me, they go down pretty smooth.
Earthplane is talking about in TFR. Kokanee is beaver. I can't even say the rest of it. I think it's probably like urine. but-
Actually, kokanee is a fish. It's a salmon.
It is, isn't it?
It's
That's
a
right.
salmon.
Yeah, a salmon. Everyone drinks Lucky beer here. He
Oh
says.
my God.
Oh, I don't know what Lucky beer is.
Lucky.
But,
Oh my God. That's.
oh, you don't like
You
that?
want to
yeah?
talk about beaver? that's it. That and Rainier beer.
Oh, Mount Rainier, huh?
Yep.
They got their own beer. Bam says I don't drink, so
Well,
apparently,
that's good for you.
Yeah, I really don't either. I mean, I may drink a beer or two a year, and that's about it.
Duke says that Heineken tastes is akin to Heine, hence the Heineken.
Oh, jeez. Oh, no.
Remember Schlitz? Schlitz malt liquor.
Olympia, Schlitz, Blatz. Yeah, my dad used to drink all those. And I don't know why the hell we're talking about that here on the portal. Maybe my dad is channeling in, and maybe that's what's going on here. My dad has passed away, and
Oh, wow.
of course he loved his beer. That guy loved his beer. But
You know, I almost said, MCAT says Sam Adams Oktoberfest. Now, I was about to say I don't like anything from Boston Brewery, except I think it's Mad Orchard. Mad Orchard comes from Boston Brewery.
Dee says her dad's favorite was Miller.
Miller, I like. You know what really good is Miller Lite is a red beer. So tomato juice, Miller Lite, beautiful.
Really?
Yeah, throw a little slop of Tabasco sauce in there, and you're.
It's not a Bloody Mary, it's a Muddy Mary.
It's a Bloody Caesar.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Oh,
some
seriously?
call them Bloody Bubbas.
Oh, I thought it
Depends
was-
on if you're from Idaho or not.
just says paranormal porter.
Paranormal Porter. Yeah,
Porter.
definitely.
Yep.
That'd be cool.
Excellent.
Wow,
Yeah, we got to
fun.
get our own brewery cooking here,
Yeah,
guys.
no
We'll do
doubt.
the paranormal port wine and paranormal porter beer, and yeah, we could have a whole brand. We'll have to start up a GoFundMe. Don can be our brewmaster. Apparently, he's got a discerning palate as well.
Yes, I like anything that burns coming down.
I can't even touch that.
That's good,
I
big
can't.
sausage.
I can't go there. I can't even go there. Oh my God. You don't know the level of restraint I have to go through to make this a family friendly show. Oh, whoa. It's so easy. I could just, yeah, but I'll leave it there. I'll leave it lay there squirming, ladies and gentlemen. You can use your imagination to fill in my blank. But we should probably do some paranormal stuff,
Some
Don.
paranormal stuff.
Yeah.
You drink enough, you'll have paranormal.
You know, oddly enough, I'm actually craving a beer right now after all this talk. I really am. I
Would
do.
it be a beer and a sausage?
No, it wouldn't just be a beer. I'm full.
He's all sausaged out.
I've had enough sausage, Don. I got enough sausage. So that's all I'm going to say.
Hi, my name's Don, and this is my heterosexual life partner, Brent. And he loves the sausage.
I do. Can't help it. That's the maybe nature's most perfect food, Don. All right, so let's go to a paranormal story here. This one has to do with Dan's mother, who suffered from epilepsy, had a seizure and started to suffocate herself in the blankets.
Oh, okay.
Paramedics arrived and got her breathing again, and they took her to the hospital at around 4:30 a.m. Before Dan had a chance to call their grandmother, their mother's mother, the grandmother called them, and she said she'd had a dream in which Dan's mother visited her, and the mother was bathed in golden light and said that she had died. At that point, even the doctors didn't know that Dan's mother was brain dead.
Wow.
The grandmother had seen it in a dream long before anyone else knew. Wow, that's pretty intense.
But I thought the covers were supposed to be safe.
I don't know what kind of cover she was using. Maybe it was a tarp. I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe she choked herself with the blankets. Maybe it wasn't just an airflow. It was just more like a choking thing. I don't know.
Yeah, it got wrapped around.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's very sad, though.
But that's weird.
Okay, so Ansel and their friends were in high school. They decided to spend some time ghost hunting in their small Illinois town. They went to a local bridge where people sometimes claimed that they saw the ghost of a young girl who had drowned there. They got to the bridge at around 3 a.m., and at first, nothing happened. Then they heard a blood-curdling, horrifying scream. They began running back to their car, but all of them paused for a moment to witness something chilling. A girl running on all fours in the woods.
Oh.
Whoa, that's creepy as hell.
Was that the end of the story?
That's all they give us. These are just little quick bites, but that is really creepy. Now, when they heard the scream, I was thinking Sasquatch.
Right.
So wonder if there's another cryptid that screams. I don't know. I don't know. You know what I mean? That's really creepy, though. Ugh. That'd be something you can't unsee.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Wow.
Lily was walking home with their sorority sisters around 2 a.m. when she saw an old man using crutches, walking a black dog. A few blocks along, they heard the sound of crutches coming up behind them again and saw that it was the same man, although this time he was walking a brown dog. They made eye contact with the man, commenting to him about how funny it was to keep running into each other, but he didn't answer. They kept walking, and then again, they heard the sound of crutches behind them, and it was the same man again, but this time with a yellow dog. To this day, they don't know how the man was catching up to them so quickly, or why the color of his dog kept changing. Do you hear Anubis?
Yes.
He's just having he's having
Oh my goodness.
the pity party out there. What?
We have 16 thumbs down.
6 in our show?
Yeah.
There must be a lot of people
No, it's not. Wait a minute.
don't like beer.
No, it changed. No, okay. That was somebody else's live show. I don't know who that was. What the hell happened? I went from our show, because I was about to call out Dead Spider, but
Excuse me while I call 911 because
like,
Don's stroking out over here.
gosh. Wow. So yeah. So first of all, walking a dog on crutches.
Right.
Second of all, walking a black dog on crutches. Third of all, changing the dog out before sneaking up on somebody else with crutches while walking a dog.
Yep. 2 times. I mean, it started with black dog, then the next it was brown.
Oh, I missed
Then the
brown
next
dog.
time it was yellow. So
Oh, I
there's
missed
like
the brown dog.
3 different colors of dog.
Oh.
I imagine the breed was the same, but
Was his name Prism?
boy, you can't buy humor like this, ladies and gentlemen, because you'd never be able to buy it or you'd never be able to sell it. I don't know. That was pretty dry though.
Smelling toast.
All right.
Does that mean that I was dry? Smelling toast?
Oh, you're just not helping any area.
I don't know what that means.
That was dry humor. Prism.
Is that...
I got it.
Yeah, but Chris Jarvis said Don is smelling smelling toast. I don't know what that means.
I don't either.
And no, that cat can stay outside. He's out there yelling.
No, Anubis is just he's having a fit.
in a pity party.
So this is the same cat, ladies and gentlemen, that I love dearly, by the way. I mean, I do. I really love this cat. But I swear to God,
Smelling toast.
at about 3 a.m. every night, he gets up on the door and he plays freaking Rocky Speedbag with the freaking blinds. And he's wow, 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 and he's smacking the hell out of it. And I'm telling you what, I have trouble sleeping as it is. But my God, that cat is persistent. And then he'll stop for like 2 minutes, and I'll start to fall asleep again. Then whap, 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 wow, wow.
Settle down, Rocky.
Yeah, I know exactly. Go get him, Rock. He wants to go outside so badly, but I don't want him out there because, honestly, I don't know what the hell's outside of here in the dark.
Dogman.
Well, I mean, really, but there's like coyotes, there's fox, there's all kinds of things that would be loving to get a cat. And so I love the guy. I don't want him to be on the food chain. So I keep him in at night. I let him out during the day. He's out all day long, in and out. But man, he's persistent as hell. So here's another one.
So smelling toast. Apparently, seizure or stroke victims have reported smelling toast.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense then.
There you go.
Are you smelling toast, Don?
No, but
Okay.
now I want a Heineken.
Okay, gotcha. All right, so let's go to the next one, and this is
Mock says my sister had a 3-legged dog named Eileen.
what the hell? I'm sorry, I wasn't listening to you.
That's okay.
All right. All right. So this is one night. This person had an intense dream that a baby told them, "Please protect my sister," and then showed them the image of a car crash between a silver Corolla, a car driven by this person's friend, and a black Ford Explorer. This person called their friend and asked her if she had a sister, to which her friend replied, "Well, my mom had a stillborn girl," and gave their friend a drive where she needed to go that night. And when they watched the news that night, they saw a report on a black Ford Explorer that was involved in an accident. So possibly, I don't know how rare black Explorers are, but it's certainly coincidental, but I don't know. That one might be a little bit of a stretch. But at least, at the worst, they saved someone from a huge tragedy. So that's good. Okay, so this person was visiting a graveyard with some friends on Halloween. So they're using like these weird usernames, and I can't keep pronouncing them, so I'll just say this person.
Okay, cool.
This person was visiting a graveyard with some friends on Halloween. Right by the graveyard was a building which frequently housed restaurants. Although restaurants in there often went out of business, and at the time the building was abandoned, and surprisingly the lights were on in the former restaurant, and a woman wearing a pink dress was watching them from the window. She appeared to be following where they walked from window to window, moving so fast that she was gliding. Finally, they started running, but she still appeared at each set of windows before them, watching closely. So there's a bit of a presence there, Don.
Apparently so, yeah.
Yeah, that's creepy. This one is Mustang. Okay. This Mustang's grandmother passed away. Their extended family participated in their typical ritual. The family creates a shrine for the dead, and at 7 p.m. for the first week after the death, they observe silence in order to allow the deceased to say goodbye. On the final day, a glass vase that had been safely sitting in its position for years fell and shattered during the hour of silence. The family was understandably a little shaken up, but things only got stranger when their aunt called, and they had been performing the ritual at her house when a door had suddenly slammed shut. The aunt's family had looked around all over, but couldn't figure out what made the door suddenly closed. Mustang says they are not sure something supernatural happened that day, but they're sure it was an alarming coincidence. Yeah, that's pretty creepy. Shattering vases. That's always the tough thing, right? When things break, I think that's so it's so disruptive. Is it necessary to break stuff?
Yeah, is it just them being mean, or is it like just them trying to get attention, or
Yeah.
I mean, it usually perturbs the people that it belongs to.
Right. I mean, it's obviously something they didn't want broken. But it's like, screw you guys and go home.
Screw you.
So this one is, I can't say that name. We'll call it Will. Will grew up in a house in an area that used to be a prairie land. Over the years, they and their mother discovered a number of arrowheads on the land, and over time they came to the realization that the house was haunted, and often they would hear inexplicable footsteps echoing through the home. One day, Will's mom was out of town, so he invited a friend over, and they decided to hang out in the basement, but noticed on their way down that every poster in the home was skewed slightly to the left. Each poster and picture on the wall, 10 to 15 in all, were slightly skewed, and the door to the small storage room was also open with the light turned on. Will crawled into the storage closet and called their mom to ask her if there was any explanation, but their mom didn't know what to say. She hadn't been in the basement for weeks before leaving on her trip. Just then, Will looked into the storage bin and saw something they hadn't seen before. A mangled, distorted footprint in the dirt. Ooh, that's creepy. That is very creepy, I think. Don't you?
Yeah. So because when we first started, I imagined somebody like walking down a hallway and just touching all of them. Just kind of,
Yeah, exactly.
And so that's what I thought of at first. And then the mangled foot out back. Is that right? Out back in the dirt.
And it was in a storage closet.
Storage closet.
In a dirt floor in a basement, I assume.
Oh, wow.
Okay. So,
Somebody asked earlier, why is it always in closets and basements that are haunted?
I don't know. And it could be just the solitude of it. I think the basements, we asked Jeffrey Seelman, our exorcist friend, and he just said, well, basements are away from everybody.
Right.
Usually people don't hang out in the basements.
And they're in the ground.
Well, yeah, that's been my take on it was maybe that deals with more of an elemental type of spirit
right.
when they choose to be in the basement most, because it could be some kind of earth elemental. There are certainly elemental spirits as well as human spirits, and of course elementals can get pretty upset as well. So, but very wild indeed. I'm looking for something else here that's spiraling off of this one. Let's see.
A lot of things spiral off.
Well, everything about this show spirals, Don. We're like a darn football game up here. These are Okay. I just want to make sure. Yeah, this is all different. Okay. These we have not read before, so
Oh, nice.
very cool. Okay. So what do we got for time? Let me see.
Oh gosh, yeah.
We got a minute.
Minute 5.
A minute, ladies and gentlemen, until we go to the next break, which is actually about 30 seconds. So
What
I'll
could
hold
we
off on this.
possibly fill a minute with?
Well, we could talk about our podcast, Don.
The podcast, yes.
The podcast has been doing amazingly, ladies and gentlemen. What number are we now in the U.S.?
I think you said like 23 in natural sciences.
23 in the category of natural sciences. The
Wow.
Paranormal Portal podcast is number 23 in the United States in the iTunes top 100 charts, or top 250, I guess. We are at number 23, so it's really growing, and thank you all for all the support and love. And if you like the podcast and you like what you're hearing, definitely go to iTunes and write us a good review, because it definitely helps. If
We
you
need
hate,
5 stars.
we need 5 stars. If you don't like it, don't bother.
Don't bother.
All right, we'll
Forget
talk
we
to
said
you.
anything.
We'll talk to you guys in a couple of minutes. Don't go away.
Truth Frequency Radio is your number one source for news and information without the
Everybody likes to play their games. Everybody loves to place their bets. They don't understand the price I paid. They don't care to comprehend. Trace their lines upon my body, dripping scars across my heart. Raging anger burns inside me as their lies keep falling apart. I am finished with my silence. I am not a stupid boy. No more breaking me with kindness. Just you dance upon my joy. Leading me with empty promise. You're just another fucking mess. Taking off the slice of my sanity. Just make sure that you're well fed. I'm not wrong yet. I'm not broken yet. I'm not broken yet. I'm not broken yet.
Caroline is not like those she's with. They're attracted to the one thing about her that is different from themselves. Her life force. It is very strong. It gives off its own illumination. It is a light that implies life and memory of love and home and earthly pleasures. Something they desperately desire, but can't have anymore. Right now, she's the closest thing to that.
Poltergeists are usually associated with an individual. Hauntings seem to be connected with an area. A house, usually.
Poltergeist disturbances are fairly short duration, perhaps a couple of months. Hauntings can go on for years.
And welcome back to the second hour of the Paranormal Portal, ladies and gentlemen.
The second hour?
Second hour, Don.
Wow.
That was the hour break right there.
I think I'll catch up sometime soon.
I imagine you will, probably at about 9 p.m., I'm a betting.
You can call me Tomato.
A tomato for sure. Oh, thanks, Lindsay. Lindsay said the song on break was phenomenal. Those of you on YouTube, that's a song I wrote and performed. I didn't play the bass on it or the drums in that case, but I played everything else and sang. So thank you very much, Lindsay. I appreciate that. That's really awesome.
Yeah, that's actually a great song.
Oh, thank you, brother.
Myself, yeah.
I may put that one up for
Oh, I thought
available
you
on
did.
Bandcamp. No, I've only got Feline and Tribes up there right
Tribes,
now.
yeah.
But I'll have to put that one up as well. If you're looking at music I wrote, if you want to help support me, you can go to brentthomas.bandcamp.com. Brent Thomas, all one word, .bandcamp.com. Two of the songs I wrote are up there. I haven't put up that one is called Emotional Buffet that played on the break. I haven't put that one up yet, but maybe we will. So we got a couple calls here on the horn, so let me get to these first of all and see what's going on. Wow. This is area code 619. You're on the air.
Hi, it's Regular Girl.
Hey,
Regla. How you doing, doll?
Hey, I'm doing good.
Oh, it's
you guys
good to hear
sound
from you.
great.
Oh, thank you. It's great to hear you. How's things been?
Things are good.
Good.
So I've got this story. It came from you talking about the arrowheads.
Okay.
I know you just mentioned it briefly.
Yep.
But and it's actually it's maybe not a woo story, but it's about a park in New York City, and in this park called Inwood Park, it's part of a large park, actually part of Washington Heights. There's a big chunk of land of the northern tip of Manhattan, Manhattan Island, and I grew up there. My family did. Excuse me. Actually, let me get the find this mute thing in case I snort or do something obscene. You need to find that mute button.
It's all right. Go ahead. I do it all the time
Yeah,
on the show.
I'm not cleared my throat, but hopefully I won't hit the hang up button while I do that soon. Change screens. But so there's this huge, and in this park where I grew up, I actually had many experiences of woo. So there is great woo in this park. But this story in particular that I want to share with you all is not about that, but it's an interesting story. And I want to share it if that's okay.
Sure, by all means.
As if you guys are going to say no. No.
No, I'm sorry. We don't have enough time. Thanks for calling. Goodbye.
Goodness.
Of course we want to hear from you. Tell us what's going on.
And so it was the arrowheads that reminded me of it. So there's this on the tip of Manhattan Island. There's this huge tract of land, and it's got big rocks and giant cliffs and stuff. And I grew up there, and so we used to. It's woods. I mean, real woods, and the Hudson River runs there. It's the tip, and there's this really treacherous part of the waterways there. In fact, the Dutch named it Spuytenduivel, which means like Devil's Waterway. So it's hard to pass. But we used to, once you go into the wooded area, there are these cliffs and caves, and we would find arrowheads, and we'd kind of go, wow, this is from when the Indians used to be here. And there's the stump of a tulip tree with like a little, and in the 60s, the early 60s, when I was a real little kid, I used to ride a great place. It was a great park to grow up in New York City. I mean, you could ride your bicycle there, and then we'd hit this. But New York City in the early 60s was like, it was just no money, the city said. So, even though this was, the plaque said, this was the place where Manhattan Island was sold to the Indians, it was just like it was a mess. You could barely see the plaque. It was like dirty and stuff. But this was supposedly the place where, so we're like, wow, man, we're playing in the same place where the Indians, did it, and we'd play up in the caves and all kinds of stuff. But when we'd ask, the parents and the people in the neighborhood, and mostly who settled there was predominantly Irish Catholic, with some Jewish scattered here and there, and Columbia University had their football stadium there as well, and their rowing practice. I don't know why these details I'm throwing in there, but I am.
It's okay.
I'm a bad storyteller. Sorry.
All right.
Maybe it'll have meaning at some point. Anyway, the point is that that became interesting to me later on is how well these facts were hidden up, meaning that, it was hard to find out about these arrowheads. It was like, it did seem that when we would ask about the arrowheads, I remember noticing, even as a kid, that even the adults, there was this like, once in a while, someone would kind of say, well, they're not really Indian arrowheads. I remember that. And we'd say, huh? What do you mean? And then it would go no further. And then I would go and, da-da-da-da-da. Well, when the internet broke out, and there came a point, there was a little while where I thought I was going to be a citizen journalist. And and I began to really do some research. There's lots of interesting history in this area. And one of the things that I discovered was this. And so I have this little bit of a screen page. And what I found out about Inwood Park was and about these Indian caves was this. And in the meantime, by the way, they have removed the page that will tell you what I'm going to tell you right now, which was that in the early 20s, they had made these Indian caves into a little museum. Oh. And the museum contained live people.
What?
And the people were designed to look like Indians, but they were mixed people. And they came from, not quite sure where. The article that I found said they came from here and there. Perhaps they were incarcerated. Perhaps they were hospitalized. But they really didn't have much freedom because their skin color was darker, than a brown paper bag. Which I also found out during this period of my life. I had never known this before. That's the method that they used when they couldn't tell, was a brown paper bag method. So if anybody's listening and you didn't know, that is one of the methods that they used, was a brown paper bag. So anyway, they used people. Now, let me see if I can change screens here. The article that is still standing, which is interesting, maybe I can put it even in the chat room later after I'm finished talking, because I can't kind of chew gum and walk at the same time.
Okay.
But they made it a little bit more scientific, and they have it. They've got some pictures, and they have somebody named Alexander Crawford Chenoweth, who made some drawings of the caves and more things about the archaeological, looking at it as an archaeological site. Oh. And but it was the American Indian Museum who did this. But luckily for me, and that's why I called in to tell the story, because it gives some credence and some credibility to what I'm telling you. There is a picture, and I am going to post this link in the chat room so that anybody who's listening or in the chat room can see this. There is one, looks like a lithograph or that picture, that kind of method that they used in newspapers from 1936. And the picture is of somebody, and it says here, Princess Naomi emerges from what anthropologists believe to be the earliest human habitation on Manhattan Island. Occupied by Indians from prehistoric times until the 18th century, this cave perches on the cliff-like, and it's just a cave we used to play in, too. I can see it. Oh, wow. This cave perches on the cliff-like wall behind the site of the Indian village of Shora Shora Capcock. They made up the name. The princess, a Cherokee Indian, was brought from New Orleans to live on and then it's inked out. So the princess, a Cherokee Indian, was brought from New Orleans to live on, which is inked out, occupied by the Aborigines. But the Cherokee Indian, who was brought from New Orleans, was modeling to be a Lenape Indian, because that's the tribe who lived here in Inwood Park, was the Lenape Indians. Mm. But basically, these were models. So the rich folk would come up in their carriages from Harlem or wherever, and these live people would be there, and the rich people would view them, the live models.
That's creepy.
Well, at some point, people... Right, it's creepy. That's right. And at some point, somebody else said, "This is creepy." Hey, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Creepy. Let's do something about this. And they did.
Oh, good.
And they got rid of it. Wow. And they crushed the story as well, because it was creepy.
Right.
And so I thought I would call in with that story. And so...
Thank you.
And there's a couple of, this park has a couple of other more important stories that they've crushed as well, which I won't go into here. But I'm going to post this link. And now in this part of Manhattan Island is a very kind of popular, they went through a renovation, and it's very expensive to live in now. Mm. And so you should see, the pictures, and that story's crushed, and now it looks like it's all very nice and wonderful, and these caves
that was just these caves.
All never happened. There's the arrowheads, and
yeah. Wow.
So, but there is a lot of woo in this park.
Oh, I believe it. Yeah.
Really wonderful, interesting place. I spent a lot of time there.
Wow.
And
that's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's always great to hear from you, ma'am. It's I've missed you, so I whenever you can call in, it's always a great thing to hear from you.
It's funny. We just looked at. She posted a Facebook.
Oh yeah,
memory. Thing? Yeah, and just it was like, hey, there's Regla. It's like, hey.
And now here you are calling us, so it's perfect.
6 years ago, yeah, that was me 6 years ago.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I did that. I hadn't been to Facebook in quite a while, yeah.
Oh,
well, that's stop there today.
Maybe that's why we haven't heard from you, but it's wonderful to hear from you tonight, and thank you so much for being a part of the show.
Well, thank you. I listen. I just don't. I'm not doing chat as much.
Okay.
Well, yeah.
We're always happy when you do chat or when you do stop in. So definitely give us a call whenever you want. We'll be here.
All righty.
All right. Good night.
Hey, you guys were funny tonight. Bye.
Thank you.
See ya. Oh, that's cool. And we got another call here. This is from Miss Diane. How you doing, Diane?
Hey, what's up? This is my new phone.
Your new phone. Sounds
and
good.
I'm calling from my new place.
Nice.
Oh, you moved. Congratulations. Yeah. How's that going? Good?
You haven't been keeping up with Chet, huh?
Well, I usually
yes,
I'm kind of
I'm
busy with
about
doing a
half
show.
moved.
I'm a little busy doing a show, but yeah, I'll check it out later. But congratulations.
You are?
Yeah, it's true. It does require a lot of my focus.
Wow, you have a show?
I know. Sometimes it just make it look so natural.
I thought it was about brewing. beer
Well,
or
it was
something. Well, anyway.
for a while there, but now it should be paranormal. So, how's the new home?
I'm so happy here. It's so much more peaceful than the old place.
Oh, good.
I'm only about half moved, so still keep your fingers and toes crossed, but don't cross your toes if you're walking around because you could get hurt.
Yeah, we don't want that.
I still have a lot to do. However, it is so much more peaceful here.
Good.
You can tell the you don't have anything hung up on the walls yet.
No, I don't.
It's got that.
Hey!
Yeah, it's got a lot of
You've been
reverb.
looking.
Yep.
You've been peeking.
Well, I'm just hearing. I have those ears. I can hear the reverb in the room. It's like, oh, those are dead walls, or they're live walls, very live walls. Yep. So. Absolutely.
Yeah, I see. It's a professional thing.
It is, yeah. So how's what's on your mind tonight, my lady?
Well, you were talking about Faye and last night, and that was the subject last night, and
yes.
I thought I'd just really quickly, I don't know, I think I might have told both of these, but I told my Faye experience, just because this is my first time in a new place again.
Uh-huh.
But when I moved into the old place, I had a Faye greeting, really. I don't know. Did I ever tell it?
The one Faye story I remember.
Halloween.
The one Faye story I remember you sharing was when you were in that park and you think you got glamored and then you found your way out of it.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
But I don't remember the one.
Yeah,
I don't remember another one. So please go ahead.
Yeah. Well, when I first moved in to the old place, I had this. I really didn't even have a bed or anything. I just had a mat on the floor. It was a really tumultuous time in my life, and I just had this dream, this wild dream. One of my first nights there, because I moved in like now, right around the same time. Mm-hmm. And I thought that while I was sleeping, they were holding a party, and someone was holding a party in my room, and a whole bunch of people were there, and there was a whole bunch of activity, but I was kind of crashed out of sleep and couldn't really do anything except kind of realize that this was all going on, and I was too darn tired to care, too, because I was exhausted.
Yeah.
So then I wake up, and I'm like, I look around, and I see the whole place spray painted in day glow colors, graffiti, and I'm like, what the?
Yeah.
I'm thinking, oh my God, my landlord's going to kill me. Oh my God, this is a new place. Oh my God, what the heck happened here?
Right.
Oh my God. And then I look down on the floor and it says Happy Halloween in glowing spray paint. Mm-hmm. And then it all disappeared, too.
Oh, wow.
That was the Faye greeting me.
Wow. That's quite a homecoming.
That was funny. I said, okay, you guys, that was funny. The other thing was I felt very unloved at the time, and this is another thing that they'll do, too. They'll do things like that. But I had a plant. It was one of those green plants with kind of heart-shaped leaves, and I had it up in my shower. Uh-huh. And this plant grew to where it wanted to grow to touch where it touched me when I'd shower. Okay. And the leaves where it touched me turned pink.
Oh, wow.
It was really weird. I'm there like going, oh, you love me.
There you go.
That's so cute.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So, if you are really, if you love nature, they will.
Mm-hmm.
And you have a good relationship, especially with the elementals and stuff. You want to have a good relationship. You don't want to have a bad relationship.
Right.
There are places where, people are afraid of the Fae. I mean, we talked about that.
Yeah.
Not all of them are good.
Sure.
But, you have to be really careful. Anyway, this new place is very peaceful, much more peaceful than the old place. It's closer to oddly enough, a bog where
a
there
dog?
really wasn't much here before this place. They had to kind of
So it's very new?
drain it, and it's very close to a bog. So it's sort of new area.
Huh. I wonder if that's
kind of cool.
I wonder if that's good or bad.
Yeah.
Because that's reprogramming the nature of the area.
Welcome to the human world.
Yeah. What do you think, Diane? Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Well, it seems that for me, it's a good thing right now. However, well, it is Indian land. I expect to start seeing some interesting things out out back here at some point.
Sure. Well, I mean, you're gonna get that no matter where you
out in
are.
the country.
You're always gonna get the weird stuff wherever you are. It's just part of the energy and such.
Yeah, it's just part of the energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
That's true.
But I just.
Well, anyway, I'm about half moved. I need to get moved before the end of the month, so I really got to do it.
Okay.
And so I'm still, but you know what? I'm here, and I got this far, and
good for you.
I'm here for Samhain, and I'll be seeing your show, and from my lovely new place, and with nothing on the wall yet.
Okay.
And maybe I should record something while the walls are bare. I get that echo effect.
Sure, you could do some good vocals, I'm sure. There you go. Well, thank you so much for calling in. It's great to hear from you.
Maybe. That's a thought. Gosh, yeah, I should take advantage of it. It's a big place.
Good.
I have this huge place now. Two bedrooms. The back bedroom is bigger than my living room was.
Awesome.
So
wonderful.
There's a lot more room. It's just so nice. Oh my God. Anyway, so it finally is working out, and I got a new. And as I moved, and I got all these. It was weird, the synchronicity. One day we'll have to talk about synchronicity, because it was just. Although it wasn't easy all the time, I can see that things had to happen just a certain way.
Sure.
You know.
It's always easy to see after the
to work
fact.
out, so
You can always see it after the fact.
we'll talk about it some more.
All right, my dear.
Yeah.
Well, take care and congratulations and welcome to your new home, and we'll talk to you soon.
Okay, love y'all.
All right, love you too.
Dave.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Good night. Okay, so that's good news. That's good news.
That's great news.
I
New
still,
place and
I'm
better
not
energy.
sure about the whole reprogramming the natural balance of the area, though.
Yeah, well,
That to me just feels, I mean, it's, I don't know. I'm sure they bought the land for real cheap because it was a bog,
Right.
but then they made it not a bog, and see, here's the thing for me, ladies and gentlemen. I think every area has a natural balance. It has a natural balance to other areas that are adjoining to it, and our human tradition is to make everything with manicured lawns and sidewalks, and to just overwrite all of that natural balance. And I think if there's a way to piss off elementals, that might just be it.
Is that Boggy Creek by any chance?
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, there's guardian spirits to all of that stuff.
Yeah.
There's things that keep it in balance. There's sylphs and dryads and other things. And whether you believe in that or not, it's up to you. I'm just saying. I always try to revere the natural balance of things as much as I can. But
I think though, Dee sounds absolutely wonderful.
Oh,
she
sure.
she sounds lightened.
Yes, that's true. Very
And
true.
she's got such a positive attitude about it. I think
Maybe it's a good
she'll
thing
be
she's
able
there.
to. Yeah, I think she'll be okay.
Yeah, and she's a spiritualist too, so
Yes.
she can probably help to keep that balance that
that's a good point.
otherwise might go out of control if she wasn't there. So, well, let's hope it all works out for sure. But I'm really happy that she was able to move because that last place I don't think was very good.
Nope.
And of course, all the things that she experienced in the area as well.
What time is it?
It's about 10 seconds until the last break, Don.
Wow.
It's almost break time, ladies and gentlemen, here on the Paranormal Portal, but we'll be right back, of course, after these messages. Time to pay the bills, of course. But if you want to be a part of the show, we got a half hour to go. You're welcome to call in, 720-923-0500. Again, 720-923-0500.
I mean poop.
So much for family friendly.
It's still friendly.
But what kind of family you working with there? All right, guys, we'll be right back. Don't go away.
And here we are again for the last half hour of the Paranormal Portal. Thank you, and you, and you, and you for joining us. We certainly appreciate it. This is Dawn, your friendly local who gives a crap. Anyhow, wow, what a show so far. This time has just gone away. Let's see, we had Paisley call in, we had Dee and Regula. Wow, it's been busy. It's been a busy show. So, well, let's see here. You know, I found this story on Facebook, and I thought I'd bring it to your attention because I thought it was interesting. Florida fisherman lost at sea for 14 days claims he was sexually assaulted by mermaids.
Whoa.
I was just thinking, well, at least it weren't mermen.
Yeah. Getting lonely. You got a pretty mouth.
Ethel merman. Anyhow, a fisherman lost at sea off the coast of Florida has been rescued by the United States Coast Guard this week. Alvin McAllister, 72, who was on a small rocky inlet 200 miles off the nearest coastline where he was shipwrecked 2 weeks ago, and managed to survive off of several seagulls, mussels, and urchin. McAllister, for whom doctors do not fear for his life, that makes no sense, was suffering from intense hallucinations, possibly caused by dehydration and the toxin of the unidentified mussels he consumed on the small island. Hold on a sec. The patient shows symptoms of extreme dehydration and is still under medical attention at this moment, as he is still suffering from mild hallucinations. He describes in graphic detail how he was forced to perform orally on fish-like parts of these aquatic creatures.
Like zoinks.
Like zoinks. Not only... Oh, no.
Does this get worse?
Not only women, but also men.
Poor guy. He was just a... I don't even know what to say to that. Oh, my Lord.
McAllister, who is believed to have ingurgitated? Excurgitated? That makes no sense. I don't like that word. Who is believed to have ingurgitated some form of toxin such as lead or mercury found in dangerous quantities in certain varieties of mussels he possibly consumed, is still under, get this, psychiatric evaluation.
Wow, why? He's obviously of sound mind. I mean, geez, hasn't he ever heard of the paranormal? Whatever.
Although Mr. McAllister does not present abnormal injuries and inflammation to the delicate areas of his body, it is highly unlikely that he was sexually exploited or, sodomized by living sea creatures, and these are possibly self-inflicted. Explained one medical expert.
Wow. Sounds like a popular tourist destination in the future, Don.
Although McAllister's mental state is presently unstable, doctors believe he should heal completely in the weeks to come after his body has expurgated. Expurgated. I don't know. That's what it says.
The big one.
The dangerous levels of toxin he has been exposed to.
Well, maybe mermaids have toxins on them, and this poor guy had to...
Don't lick the frogs! Don't lick those either!
They're psychedelic scales or something.
Oh, wow.
I don't even know where the hell to go with that one, Don.
No, I did not make that up.
Yeah.
Paisley's accusing me of making that up.
Well, it is a fantastical story, ladies and gentlemen, but here in the paranormal, I've learned to keep an open mind.
We know. So, Crow Creek Cryptid says mermaids love sausage there, big guy.
Well, my sausage is prepared on the stove. That's all I'm going to say. It's not any kind of innuendo sausage.
That's what Hannibal Lecter
I'm
said.
speaking dietarily, of course. However, my lovely co-host and certain individuals of the chat have decided to take that to a whole different place.
Fish on.
Yeah, well, speaking of fish on, Don, where was this place he was stuck?
It was like
He had a lot of fish on by the apparently.
He got a lot of fish on. He was it was 14 days off the coast of 200 miles off the nearest coastline. Ooh. And this is down in Florida. So that's like
Florida. Okay.
That's like wow. He was like Cuba, Dominican Republic, you know. He was down in the Bermuda Triangle.
Ladies and gentlemen, that explains everything. All kinds of strangeness is known on in the Bermuda Triangle. Now we know what happened to all those boats and planes and stuff.
They were eating.
Yeah. That's where they acquired their taste for wayward travelers, I think. How terrible is that? Oh my God. Wow. You know, you can't. There's so many places you can go with this, but I can't go with this because I really am desperately hanging on, trying to make this a family show. As hard as it is, because well, the poor guy. I hope he heals and makes it through his. I'm hoping.
I'm sure he's suffering.
Oh well, either way he's suffering, because if it was all hallucinations, he believes that something horrible happened. If it was real, he experienced something horrible happening. So, in either way, this poor guy's got a whole truckload of therapy ahead.
5 Hazel says sirens. Now that makes more sense. They turned me into a toad.
Yeah, he could probably get some therapy time on Dr. Phil for a while for this stuff.
Toad.
Gotcha. Toad. All right. So,
you've never seen Oh Brother Where Art Thou?
Yeah, I have. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I gotcha. That's right. I remember.
They were sirens.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I like that song, by the way. That song is really good.
Yeah, man of I can't remember.
Constant Sorrow.
Yes, Man of Constant Sorrow. That's it.
Yep. I've seen troubles all my days. Yeah, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. You can't follow that pretty much with anything, because nothing is more paranormal than that story, I don't think. That poor guy. I mean, geez, if he really believes that dude's in for a lot of work.
You know what's funny is, like 2 weeks ago, I said, yeah, I got this story about this lady who says she was assaulted by aliens. And you said, no, you can't read that one. But I can read this one?
Well, I thought it was going to be more just a reference. I didn't know we were going to go into detail on that. I really try to stay away from the real bedroom kind of stuff, or, you know, depending on the place. But any kind of sexual stuff, I try to stay away from, just because it's freaking weird, and it can, you know, I really do want this show to be as appealing to as many people as possible without having to shield young ears, because I know there's some young children listening, and so I would like to keep it as friendly as we can for that. But
Elaine says all the lonely sailors will be heading that way now. If it's the Bermuda Triangle, we may never see them again.
Well, they may never want to be seen again, though, either.
That's why I wouldn't want to be
with that kind of emotional luggage, you just might as well stay.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, so there you have
like
it.
Ulysses.
Yeah, thank you, Don, for all of those wonderful mental images I didn't need for the rest of my life. All right, so I got another one here. Something strange happened to Bob and their grandma. Or Babe, and their grandma. One night they stayed up late watching The Walking Dead, and their grandma had never seen the show before. So they'd spent the past few nights binging late into the night, and it was about 4 a.m. when the two turned off the television and the lights and called it a night. Their grandma went to her room, and Babe went to the bathroom to brush their teeth, and when she was done, they heard 3 light knocks behind them. Or behind her, sorry. They keep saying them because it's weird usernames. Since the bathroom was connected to their grandmother's room, they assumed it was just her checking to see if they were in the bathroom. And they answered but didn't get a response. And when she left the bathroom and met the grandma in the hallway, she asked what the user wanted. And confused, she said that that she thought she was the one knocking on the bathroom door, but Grandma had also heard 3 knocks on her door and thought it was Babe. So there you go. The Walking Dead indeed, ladies and gentlemen. However, more incorporeal than zombies, which is the way I prefer my Walking Dead. I'd rather
Zombies?
I would rather they were not in zombie form.
Oh, okay.
Rather than they were not embodied by rotting flesh. So, as it turns out, they both heard the quiet, distinct knocks. They searched the house to make sure no one had broken in, double-checked the locks, and finally went to bed. The grandmother has one deceased son, and one son has been missing for almost a year now. Wow. And the user believes that the knocks had something to do with the missing men. Perhaps they were trying to reach out to their beloved family. That's strange.
I have to restrain myself from singing.
Okay.
Because, like, that song's awesome.
Which, the Constant Star?
No, the Knock 3 Times.
Oh, yeah. Tony Orlando?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. It was great in the 70s, and that's kind of where I left it. But All right, so this one has to do with the shoe. A few years ago, Tom had just been through a rough divorce from his high school sweetheart. His best friend had taken to distracting her by taking long road trips. And one morning, they were on their way to Carlsbad, New Mexico, when they paused alongside a river dam. And they were drinking cider and snacking when the pair decided to explore the dried riverbed. It was obvious that they weren't the first ones to go trekking through the riverbed. The pair could see both human and canine and feline footprints in the mud. They then recall starting to feel an odd sensation, like they were being watched. The friend caught the person's attention and called them over, and there was a bone in the ground, but they now believe it was the spinal cord. At first, they thought it was a beef or pork bone of some kind, and they continued looking around the riverbed when they found a strange rust-colored rock sticking out of the sand. And when they got closer, they realized it was a half-buried little girl's shoe. The person stepped back and ran forward, preparing to kick the shoe, and suddenly they heard a little girl's voice, "No, don't, please." They looked around but didn't see anyone besides themselves and their friend. The friend asked why they stopped, and they replied, "Didn't you hear that little girl?" Both confused, they decided to shrug it off and continued on their way. Meanwhile, the feeling that someone was watching them grew stronger. A few minutes later, they spotted another bone. Now they began to get scared. The bone was clearly human. The friend called the non-emergency police number for Carlsbad, and they reported what they saw. 1 week later, they received a call from their friend that the Carlsbad police had called to report the bones they found were indeed human. During the investigation, the two were questioned and eventually informed that the rust-colored rock actually wasn't a rock at all, but the shell of a pickup truck that had disappeared along with a family of 3. It had been carrying a man, a woman, and their daughter. Yep. It made the users think back to the little girl's shoe sticking out of the mud, and the voice they heard could have been the little girl that was speaking to them.
Wow.
That's pretty bizarre. So they must have just gone into there must have been like a high water time or something, and they just, wow, how tragic is that?
Yeah, but that's a lot of mud and sand. And
right, but and during floods, if that was fast moving.
That's true, yeah, you got a point there.
Yeah, I could bury a truck in no time. Hey, Don, look at this.
Oh, God.
It's a Ouija story. We love us some Ouija stories here in the portal.
Sure.
Yep, we do.
There's a reason I can just barely see the Ouija board over my head.
Just watch out for that planchette, Don. If it falls, it could mean something.
If it just moves, I don't care if it falls.
Oh, it's pretty stuck in place. Yeah, it shouldn't move.
No,
So the only movement will be if it falls to the floor.
Yeah, well.
And if it falls to the floor, now we're both going to be.
Now you're
getting some willies.
Oh, there you go. We'll see. Okay, good. I won't be the only one scared to.
Oh, I'd get willies. I mean, I'm not saying that stuff can't be freaky. It just, it won't like scare me.
It wouldn't just.
But it is freaky. So Dean went to a friend's house for a party last year.
Okay.
Around 1 a.m, the group decided to use a Ouija board. Great fun. Great fun at all parties, ladies and gentlemen. You should bring one along.
Yeah.
The user, the person was the only one who believed in accounts of the paranormal, so she was hesitant when her friends brought out the board. But instead of giving her friends more reasons to tease her when it came to the paranormal, she acted as if she didn't believe in such activity.
Mm-hmm. She gonna believe tonight, isn't she?
She's about to. She's about to become a believer. They began asking the board questions, which they started with a few normal questions. Nothing really exciting happened. And then someone asked if the spirit wanted to hurt them, and it responded with only one. The group started to get creeped out at this point, and rightfully so, when one friend asked the natural follow-up question, who? The board spelled out Natasha, the Reddit user's name. It should be noted that she doesn't care for their full name and has everyone call her Tasha instead. Tasha then left the room while her friends continued playing, but found out later that night that the group forgot to say goodbye on the board.
Oh.
Well, that's not really going to matter too much, but they should have closed the session, which is not just goodbye, by the way. Anyone familiar with the Ouija board knows that closing the interaction with the spirit is crucial before stopping the use of the board. Needless to say, she was nervous. After this, Tasha has no memory of the night. She only remembers getting a migraine and nosebleeds. Her friends took videos of her acting strangely, speaking with a changed voice, and a few instances of her talking in other languages.
Gosh.
Whoa, that's a bit creepy, isn't it? All right. However, that night wasn't the only time this happened. In the days that followed, Tasha's parents reported the same things happening. Once again, she remembered nothing but migraines and nosebleeds. Mm-hmm. About 2 weeks later, she was back to normal, or so she thought. Tasha was suddenly hospitalized for an excruciating pain in her kidney, so bad that it almost shut down. The doctors tried everything but couldn't figure out what was wrong. Then on the day she was scheduled for surgery, the pain suddenly stopped. 1 day later, she was released. Since the incident, she has never felt like she was truly alone. Sometimes she feels someone is grabbing her hands or neck or making it difficult to breathe, and Tasha has always believed in the paranormal. But this experience made it more real for her. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Don't play with no Ouija board. You don't know what you're doing. All right, so this is scare at a nursing home, Don.
Oh.
So this person's a dietary aide at a nursing home for people with Alzheimer's, and they've had some seriously scary encounters while working there, and the job mainly consists of washing dishes, and they're normally standing right next to the dishwasher, which makes it difficult to hear what people are saying. On numerous occasions, they have been by the dishwasher and heard someone talking to them, even though they knew no one was nearby. One night, this person went to collect food carts in one of their units alone. The whole time they were in the unit, they felt like they were being followed. Fearing what they might see, they never turned around. Eventually, they pulled off, pretending to use the bathroom, and they waited there for about 5 minutes before peering into the hallway where they'd just been, and there they saw a patient they recognized. At first, this made them feel better, but soon they realized it was a patient who had died 3 days prior in the unit near the kitchen. Wow. Freaky stuff, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Halloween. Sorry, that just kind of gave me a tickle. All right. So the user also relayed a second experience that they had while washing the dishes. On a different day, they asked the person they were washing with if he could go to the unit A and get the food carts. The third person who normally washed with them had already left for the day, leaving this person alone. Suddenly he heard a voice in his ear and turned around, but no one was there. He even went into the hallway, but still saw nothing. And as they returned to washing the dishes, it happened again. The second time, they realized it was the voice of their great-grandmother who'd passed away 7 years ago. Very spooky. It sounds like there's something to do with that nursing home. But there again, Don, nursing homes, hospitals, They seem to be very active portal areas.
You know, and I would imagine that ones that deal with like dementia patients and Alzheimer's patients, I could imagine that those are really creepy.
Ooh, we got a call. Let's get to this call. Let's get to this call. And this is coming from area code 863. You're on the air. Hello.
Hello.
Hey, how you doing? Welcome to the show. Who are we talking to?
Oh, this is Beasley Bronco.
Oh, hey,
Beasley Bronco. How you doing, brother? Welcome to the show. How's everything tonight?
Oh, just fine and dandy. I figured I'd call in and share a story. You know, I just kind of been itching to call in and share one. So
by all means, brother, make it. Go ahead.
Just a cool little short story. It's not too long.
Okay.
Happened about 10 years ago. I was 16 at the time. I had taken my sister up to the local McDonald's to get something to eat. I wasn't supposed to be driving at the time, but I had a car. And so we drove, just about a mile down the road. And we were standing there in line, and a family friend of ours, longtime family friend, from when my dad was in high school type of friend, been around for a while.
Sure.
Comes walking into the store, walks up to me and my sister, gives us a hug, says, it's nice to see you, it's seen us in a while. I wish you could come around more often. This, that, and the other, just, nice to see us, and tell the folks that he said hi, and that he might come, he'll just, he'll see us around and whatnot, and gave us a hug and walked out. Got on his bicycle, because he had a DUI, he didn't drive nowhere, so he was always on a bicycle.
Oh, okay.
And, just kind of rode off down the street, nonchalant. It's kind of something we would expect, because he lived in the neighborhood. So, didn't think nothing about it. Got home, found my dad, in his room, pretty distraught and upset. And the same person we had just ran into, he had an obituary in the newspaper for like 5 or 6 days prior.
Wow.
We didn't even know that he had passed.
Oh,
because we hadn't been in contact with him. And
so you gave.
So it was pretty crazy to think that we ran into him, just for him to come say bye.
So you gave him hugs though too, right? Like the guy gave you a hug.
Yeah, physical contact.
What now?
Carried on a short conversation.
And nothing out of the ordinary with that. Nothing, no weird sensations. It was just like hugging anybody else.
I mean, it was almost like it was, thinking back on it, it's been a while. It was almost like it was a surreal moment, kind of like one of the moments that come and go not so often. It's just a nice, warm feeling about the moment.
Yeah.
And just nice to see the guy. And it was pretty crazy to get back home and just minutes after seeing that, find out that he had passed days before.
Wow.
And
did you tell your dad what you experienced?
Yeah, we talked about it. I mean, the whole family's pretty open with paranormal experiences. We've had lots over the years. But
that is
it was cool. He said he wished that he could have been there, and
that is so powerful. That is incredibly powerful. You have had an exceptionally rare experience there, brother. You know that, right?
Yeah. I've always felt that way, and just all through my life, I've had experiences with the paranormal and positive manners. I haven't really had the 1 or 2 negative encounters.
Good. Well, that's good. I mean, and I think most of them are actually positive. We just get scared, because most of the time it looks like a ghost or acts like a ghost, so we assume that it's, bad. But I don't think in most cases it really is. It's just our perception. But, to actually make contact, to have a discussion, to, have those moments with somebody who had obviously passed before then, and they were manifest so completely that you actually had physical contact, and it was just as real as anybody else. And then to find that out, I mean, did you just almost get dizzy with the overwhelmingness of it all?
It's just kind of like you had to take a moment. You had to step back and take a seat, and you're like, "Wow, did I really just experience this?" And all through this guy's life, he was always just always for everybody else type of person. He was always very wholehearted and warm person, do anything, give you shit off your back.
That's
type
really
of person.
cool.
So,
and the nice thing
he
is
was always very close in the spiritual side of things, you know, like with his maker and what have you.
Yeah. And the nice thing is that you have a witness to it as well. So it wasn't just you. Right?
Yeah, and I almost want to say that he acknowledged somebody else in the building, like as he was walking in, like he walked in front of somebody or something like that. I can't put my finger on it, but yeah, my sister was there.
Yeah.
I was there in a store full of people. Somebody else had to have seen it.
Yeah.
Maybe they didn't. Maybe he was just visual. You know, maybe it was just us. But
well, that's about it for the night, brother. Thank you so much. That was an excellent way to end the show.
That.
No,
it's
you're
fine.
perfect. That's awesome. You ended the show on a brilliant note. Ladies and gentlemen, stick around for Paisley Wild coming up next, and then later on, Duke with World Bigfoot Radio on TFR, iHeart, tune in and TalkStream Live. Love you all. Be good, be kind, be nice, take care of each other, help each other out, find the magic in every day, and remember to laugh.
My name
We
is
got
Ella.
I missed it.
Hey,
All right, good
hey,
night,
Beasley,
brother.
thanks,
One
bro.
of the millions of children born to parents
Good night,
suffering
everybody.
from the sheeple virus.